The day in Salem starts off tense, though no one yet realizes just how quickly ordinary conflicts can spiral into life-altering consequences. Maggie and Jeremy have been clashing for days, their frustrations simmering under the surface like a pressure cooker ready to explode. The argument that finally erupts is nothing short of intense. Words are sharp, voices raised, and every unspoken resentment from the past month surfaces. Each accusation, each defensive statement, fuels a storm that neither of them can immediately calm. Maggie's heart races, her chest tightens, and the anger and fear she feels are almost suffocating. She feels cornered, overwhelmed, and desperate to regain control of her own life. In the aftermath of the heated exchange, Maggie decides to leave the house abruptly. She needs space, a way to clear her mind, to escape the emotional intensity she just endured. But the storm of emotions, anger, fear, confusion, frustration, and even lingering guilt over the words exchanged, clings to her like a heavy coat. Her thoughts are fragmented, distracted, and unfocused, and the streets of Salem suddenly seem much more dangerous than usual. Every honk, every pedestrian, every minor distraction threatens to overwhelm her, but Maggie presses on, determined to put distance between herself and Jeremy, between herself and the confrontation that still burns in her mind. And then the unthinkable happens. In a single, split-second moment, her distraction, compounded by fatigue and emotional strain, leads to a serious accident. The scene is immediate and shocking. A car skidding off course, a sudden impact, shattering sounds, and a jarring crash that throws Maggie's world into chaos. Emergency responders arrive, sirens wailing and lights flashing. But for Maggie, the moments are terrifyingly suspended in pain, confusion, and fear. Every heartbeat becomes a drum of suspense, every second stretching as those nearby struggle to assess the severity of her injuries. The accident isn't just physical, it's emotional, a culmination of the tension that had been building between her and Jeremy, and a stark illustration of how quickly life can change when tempers flare. Meanwhile, Jeremy is left reeling from a combination of shock, guilt, and panic. The realization that Maggie's accident may have been indirectly caused by their argument strikes him like lightning. His heart races as he imagines the pain she could be in, the danger she faced, and the consequences of his own actions. Every harsh word, every accusation he flung during the argument comes back to him with painful clarity. He feels a profound sense of responsibility, coupled with helplessness as he watches events unfold. The emotional weight is crushing. He has always wanted to protect Maggie, and yet now he may have been the cause of her suffering. Friends and family, once unaware of the immediate danger, scramble to support Maggie. They rush to the hospital, their faces etched with worry and fear, their conversations a mix of speculation and prayers. Each loved one reacts differently, some with quiet tears, others with frantic energy, others holding back anger at the circumstances. The atmosphere is heavy with dread, but also a shared hope that Maggie will pull through. Every character involved is forced to confront not just the physical consequences of the accident, but the emotional fallout, the ways in which relationships, trust, and personal accountability intersect when life hangs in the balance. Maggie herself, even in the midst of her pain and disorientation, becomes a focal point for the emotional currents swirling around Salem. Her resilience, her vulnerability, and the sheer immediacy of her situation pull the other characters into introspection. Jeremy, in particular, is forced to face his own shortcomings. His impulsiveness, his temper, and the ways in which his words and actions can have unintended, dangerous consequences. The accident becomes a harsh mirror reflecting not just the fragility of Maggie's body in that moment, but the fragility of the relationships she holds dear. By the end of the episode, the city of Salem is left in a state of suspense and worry. Maggie's condition remains serious, and the emotional stakes are sky-high. The accident has set into motion a cascade of consequences: regret, guilt, fear, and reflection, that will ripple through the lives of Jeremy, Maggie, and everyone connected to them. What began as a simple argument has transformed into a life-altering crisis, one that will test the bonds of family, friendship, and love, and force characters to reckon with the dangerous power of unchecked emotions. The episode closes with a lingering sense of uncertainty. Will Maggie recover? How will Jeremy cope with the weight of his perceived responsibility? And how will this accident alter the dynamics of their relationships moving forward? The tension, drama, and emotional stakes ensure that Salem will never be the same, and viewers are left waiting, breathless, for the fallout to unfold in the coming episodes.